We're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Athens in Motion Commission. To allow WebEx to share my content. Sorry, I had to reinstall WebEx today. Can someone else pull up the agenda? Because I might have to restart.
Yeah, I'll get it pulled up.
Sorry about that.
I have it if you want me to share, Daniel.
I just got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. And can we make it a little bit bigger? Command plus plus or control plus plus. Thanks. All right. So first of all, before we go on to approving our agenda and minutes, I do want to welcome Sherelle, our new Vision Zero coordinator. Sherelle, welcome. Do you want to say a few words?
Hi, y'all. Thank you for inviting me in to Athens in Motion and let me be part of the process. I'm excited to help make Athens a more walkable, bikeable, transit-friendly city. Let's do it.
Awesome. Of course, new position recently approved by the mayor and commission. So our very first Vision Zero coordinator. And of course, the whole point of Vision Zero is this idea that no one should have to die in a traffic accident. That is not normal. That's kind of the Twitter version. There's much more to it than that. So Sherelle, very excited to have you on board, and I'm so excited that we're building out basically our bike pedestrian safety team now, and Daniel is not alone in that endeavor. Of course, all of Transportation Public Works is on board with that, but still, it's good to get some extra support for you, Daniel, and everything that you're doing. So welcome. Were there any comments on our agenda tonight?
I did not receive any comments.
If there are none, I will ask the commission if there are any additions, changes to our current agenda. I don't see Craig on here yet, and I know he had an item. Maybe he'll sign on a bit later. All right, if there are none, I will entertain a motion to approve our agenda.
I'll make your motion, Lauren.
Thank you, Teresa. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second, that was Randy?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to our minutes from August 23rd. And can we pull those up too?
Yes, one moment.
Yeah. Okay, so these are our minutes from a month ago. Any additions, corrections? Blaine, did you have anything you needed clarification on? Seems pretty detailed to me.
No, and I included Dale's comments from the Greenway also on the committee report.
Thank you. All right. That looks right. And I will entertain a motion to approve our minutes.
Okay. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
And I'll second.
All right, first from Randy, second from Teresa. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, any discussion? The minutes carry. Okay, and Daniel, you can stop sharing your screen, and I'll have to restart WebEx in a moment to be able to share my screen, but so I will do that during a future item, but did want to bring up a couple things. Do we have any word about whether our next meeting will be in person, Daniel?
Not at the moment. We'll find out at the next voting session, which could be next Tuesday.
All right, so y'all maybe prepare for the possibility that we will be meeting in person. So you might need to factor in some travel time.
And you'll find out when I send out the invite. If it's not in person, it'll just say virtual for location.
Thank you. So heads up on that. We have been meeting virtually for a long time. 2 years? No. Yeah? Oh my gosh, it has been 2 years. Wow. Yeah, Teresa and I were on a committee that the whole time we were remote. Never really saw anybody.
It'll be weird to go in person again.
Yeah, I'll have to put on some deodorant and stuff, which I put on anyway. Even when I get on these calls with y'all, I'm like, oh, I need to get ready. Like take a
Well,
shower.
thank you for that, Lauren.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Gotta practice. All right, so a couple housekeeping items. So Daniel does need our agendas so he can post them. This is because we're a public government commission. Even if they're in a draft state, it's okay if they change later, but he does need those to post. And also he needs the final version of minutes for committees when they are approved. Daniel, is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that covers it. I guess we've been kind of doing standing meetings with the virtual meetings. Are we wanting to do them based on request if things go away from virtual, or do we want to continue doing standing meetings? I can send out another survey if timing is a little different versus in person and virtual.
Daniel, do our subcommittee meetings have to be in person if mayor and commission say that AIM meetings have to be in person?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what do y'all think about having another poll going out about meeting time since we have some new folks as part of this group?
I think it'd be a good idea, especially if we're meeting in person.
Yeah.
4 o'clock might be a challenge.
I'll do 2 polls, one for in person, one for virtual. Excuse me.
Oh,
And,
that's a good idea.
that way, and it'll just ask your availability. You want to give me a time range of, obviously business hours 9 to 5 usually. So do we want to stick to no earlier than 3, no later than 8? Like, what are the time constraints that y'all like to be asked within?
I like afternoons.
Okay, so I can start with 12.
Yeah.
I could just do 9 to 9 if y'all want. I don't really want to be meeting until 9, but
But you can leave it open and see how the responses come in. I don't think you'll see too many that early.
yeah, I just need to have like time constraints to work
Right.
and to set
Yeah,
that.
I'd go 9 to 9. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think I have any other housekeeping. Do we want to talk about committee membership?
Yes, And I meant to add that to the agenda, but real quick. So I'm going to try and assemble this agenda a little bit sooner. That's always been my goal. So I think what I will do is a week before our meeting, I will reach out to committee chairs directly about items to discuss or notes that you want included on the agenda of things that you're working on. And then any items that you would like to bring to the full commission for more lengthy discussions. So that would be something beyond the report backs that we do at the end. So it might be like, yeah, we, as a committee have voted on such and such, and we're ready to take this to the full commission for about a 20-minute discussion or however much time we have. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
That works.
All right. And then as much as possible, like make sure, commissioners, make sure that you are on a committee. So we have 3 right now. Initially, the Athens Motion Commission came up with 6, but they got consolidated into 3. So that's grants and data, policy and projects, education and communications. And try to get to at least one of those a month. Of course, stuff comes up because that's where the most of our work is going to happen, is in those committees. Of course, there's a lot we try and get done in these commission meetings, but those committees should be where much of our work is happening. And if, we've been around for a couple of years now, so if you think that there's a committee that is missing, or you have something you want to talk about, you're not sure where it belongs, or if you think that the committee should be restructured, put it out in the listserv and we can talk about that. Or decide the best avenue to talk about that maybe at our next meeting. We can have a meeting about meetings, which is my favorite.
Okay, so I'm looking at our activities spreadsheet that Daniel so nicely put together for us. And I just want to make sure that we've got all the people on there. I don't see John Devine's name or contact information. So we need to get that. And then Aaron is no longer on the commission. Is that correct? Okay, so I'm just going to delete him. Sorry, Aaron. Don't take it personally.
From which document are you talking about right now?
This is the AIMC activities / capacity. And it's in our
Oh, it's in the Google Drive.
Yeah. So I'm deleting Aaron. Bye, Aaron. Okay, so he's gone. All right.
One other thing while we're talking about Google Drive, we did do a little bit of organization recently. We're looking to just kind of make it a little easier to navigate through there. And we also made some new templates for agendas and minutes based off of our new standards that we created with Tool Design Group. So those can be found, I believe if you click on agendas and minutes, there should be, a general agenda template. So
Thank you so much for that. And I will use that with our next meeting. And if I happen to miss that, please let me know. Perfect.
Okay, so I see John Devine's name. If John wants to just send an email with his contact info, that would be super awesome. Thank you, John. Then I can plug it into the spreadsheet. So we've got.
What is this for? Is it just an internal document?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
It's not publication.
I share that internally. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it's preferred email, phone, and then we need to know when your term expires.
that should be on the commission webpage.
Okay. I'll get that from there. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thanks. And Teresa, thanks for noting that. Moving on to our major discussion, which will last us until 5 o'clock when we go on to staff updates. So first is, I just thought we'd do a little report back on the UGA Bike and Pedestrian Safety Day. And I was wondering if Randy or Teresa or, Sherelle or Daniel were there, if y'all would like to give a quick overview of the event. And while y'all are doing that, I will restart WebEx so I can share my screen. Anyone want to kick us off?
It was fun and well attended, and the kids were really cute and sweet, and not very many of them ride bicycles, but almost all of them walk. So, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was one of the takeaways for me too, Teresa, was that not many were riding bicycles. The few comments I got from those individuals were how bike lanes kind of disappear as you're riding on them.
Mhm.
From the pedestrians, it was comments around lighting and trying to think what else. Yeah, those were the major issues.
I was there for work with Georgia Bikes, and it was so busy that I was unable to sit at the Athens in Motion table for even a minute because we were just overwhelmed with kids coming through, which is great. But I'm sorry I didn't get to join you guys at our table.
We said hi.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, it sure seems if you give away a T-shirt, you get a lot of people showing up, especially if you make them go to each booth to be able to get that T-shirt.
And if you're on campus,
That too. That too.
where they're already going to be.
Yeah, it was a great event and something I appreciated. I don't know if you mentioned this, Randy, that you took notes on some of the issues the students were having.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I meant to follow up with that, but I think that was great. Do you remember anything that you had said off the top of your head?
It was mainly around lighting for the pedestrians. Issues where they ran into areas that were kind of dark and scary, to quote one young lady, and for cyclists, bicycle lanes disappearing and reappearing randomly, in their opinion.
I think random is about a good representation.
The
have
other thing that I
plans.
noted from a lot of students was, yeah, I have a bike, but it's not here in Athens, or it's broken. And by broken, they might have meant like I have a flat tire. So hopefully Scott saw some business in the week after that from referrals from my tent, because every one of them was encouraged to bring their broken bike over to him. Sorry, buddy.
We gave you lots of plugs, Scott.
Yeah, we should get a few more materials because I think half the time I was handing out sheets about Athens in Motion, writing bike Athens, Broad Street. So yeah, we definitely see a need for some more materials, some QR code stuff. So much.
Mhm.
And yeah, the lighting definitely comes up, and that comes up in our master plan too, the importance of lighting for safety and comfort. And I was talking to one person and she was like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to go to downtown Target because there's been some weird stuff going on downtown and things look kind of dark and everything." And I'm like, "Oh, I wouldn't have even thought about that. It's pretty well lit to me compared to some other areas." But, she was a freshman and she's just getting to know campus and town and is, not willing to take some risks, right? So, um, and I feel like we talk mainly about like cement and asphalt and thermopaint, but lighting also important part of our infrastructure. Okay, speaking of events, this Sunday, big event, Porch Fest, and Athens in Motion will be there to help get out the word about Prince Avenue and what's going on there with the pilot project.
Lauren, are those shifts or are you guys going to be there the whole time?
we need shifts. So Daniel will be there, I will be there. Teresa, I know you're out, and that's fine. And something that we definitely realized at the UGA event is we might be talking to a lot of people, and man, that's just a great experience, and it's also exhausting. So I think we need some a contingent of folks. I'm not sure if Mark is going to be there with the user group. I know that he can't be here today, but I'd love to have a couple more Athens in Motion commissioners there. So Daniel and I will be there by 12:30.
Yeah, I'll be there the whole time because I'll be driving the public input van. But
Thank you for that. And we were thinking until about 5. I believe that's right. So can we get any other hands on deck for Sunday?
I'll be glad to help. Just let me know when and where.
Okay, Dale, thank you.
Do we have like a
Yeah,
sign
I
up
can-
sheet for slots?
We do
Ooh,
not.
that'd be good.
Maybe. I definitely can't be there the whole time because I'll have my kids, but you know, I can do like an hour or 2 slot.
Yeah, I'll let you, Sherelle, you and Daniel can talk about that because your staff, and I don't want to make you be there, or I don't know how that's going to work with your schedule, but thank you for your willingness. Okay. Got Dale. Can anyone else join us?
Yeah, I can put some time in.
Okay,
Wait, have a sign up sheet. That'd be great.
All right, Randy and Craig. Okay. So I will make a sign up sheet.
Just make sure none of those kids steal my toys.
They did
Yeah.
love that.
I know they do. It's very hands-on, which is fine, but as long as they put them back.
Great. Thank y'all. Sign up sheet will be coming your way.
Did we end up getting like fun handout things?
I have a few things that we can hand out about bike safety and just our resources from Bike Athens. I also have some armbands with reflectors from GDOT. And Scott, if you have some bike lights that you want us to give away.
I'll bring what I got, and you know, I can have a box of helmets, and we'll be there sort of fixing bikes if people have any issues while they're riding from porch to porch.
Yeah. And then as far as the primary purpose being public input, we'll definitely make sure that we have enough resources for people to get their questions answered. So we'll have a few different tables. We'll have iPads. We'll have door hangers, and I think they're maybe not door hangers, but we'll have some different printed materials that should be in the van when I pick it up. So.
I know we had talked about like bubbles or crayons or like some like those fun things. Did that happen or no?
We haven't. No one asked me to order anything. So, is that something that it's too late to order it probably? But if anyone has them, they can bring them.
Yeah, I think it's up to y'all, but I think we're fine to go without.
Does anyone know, is there any kind of inclement weather plan? I know that
Oh yeah.
hurricane's kind of coming through this weekend. I don't know what Sunday particularly looks like. I just know I heard Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday looked bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Historic Athens has a rain date. That's a good question.
It's all outdoors, right? I mean, everything's outdoors, on porches.
Yeah. Unknown. I mean, we can check the Historic Athens website and see if there is a plan for that.
According to my weather app, Sunday looks clear. Friday and Saturday may have some rain. for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Teresa. Well, we'll see what happens. We will plan to be there unless the event is canceled, rescheduled, rain dated. All right, along those lines, the Prince Avenue pilot project, it's great. It's installation continues. And I think we can do, Daniel, what do you think? Should we do a project update on this now, or do you want to wait until the staff updates and I can just talk about things from the commission side, the Athens in Motion Commission side?
We'll just go ahead and talk about it now. I took it out of my staff update area. I think I meant to, since it's a major agenda item.
Yeah, we can talk about it. There's paint on the roads. There's some of the Zikla zippers. I think when I biked home, was that last night? Yes, that was last night. I think most of them were in place. I will say this. I was turning on to Prince from Pulaski. I guess it was Friday. And I always gear myself up in that turn lane before I turn on the Prince Avenue because I know I'm going to have to haul butt because I'm going to have all these cars going around me. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have to do that. I'm going to have my own lane. And it was just such a sense of relief. I didn't even realize the amount of stress that I carried with me. And then Monday night, I decided to take Prince to go by daily and pick up some groceries. And I was like, oh my God, it's dark at night. You know, I have to be careful, I have to make sure that I'm signaling. I hope people can see me. And I'm like, wait, I have my own lane, my own space. What a sense of relief. I feel so much better. I didn't even, again, I don't realize how much stress and anxiety I carry with me, even on my bike. And I think that some people see us when we're biking and they think like, oh, like I'm just some sort of a brave, courageous, like fearless person. And y'all, I am not. I'm pretty risk averse. So, it definitely makes a difference already, I would say. So Daniel, what's the latest?
Yeah, still being installed. We're working on a few adjustments that, you know, you try to catch everything in the plans view, but there's been a few things that we've caught notice of and we're working to address. A lot of the improvements on top of what we've already seen, like reconfigurations and stuff, like those are things that will probably be implemented after the pilot's over, unless it's kind of a safety concern. I know we have received a few different reports of some things where, and I actually, this might have been the same one, but I did observe, I was out there yesterday and there was an 18-wheeler kind of going through the 3-laning project. They stayed in the right lane. That's a right turn only, and then they went straight across at speed through the intersection into where the cars would normally be parked, and so they kind of cut off cars that were going straight. This 18-wheeler kind of flew through there. So we're installing some immediate signage right now to say right turn is, you know, or right turn only, straight ahead. Like that's been one of the biggest concerns, is just that if you're traveling on Prince and you need to go straight, you have to go over into the center turn lane to get queued up to go straight. And people are not clear on that. So we're working on some signage and new paint going down for that. We've also been improving some of the sight lines where the new crosswalk is. Landscape came out, did a great job, and cleaned up the tree that was kind of blocking the view of the crosswalk. And then a lot of it is just waiting to see if people get used to it. I think most of the concerns where they're like, you know, someone says, so-and-so, you know, somebody cut me off, that has a lot to do also with it's not fully installed yet. They're still installing it. We know it would take about a week or two to do that full install. So hopefully once the protective barriers are in there, people will kind of be a little more careful and they won't be cruising through the parked cars right now. So,
Daniel, I came through today at lunch and delivery trucks were parking in the bike lane along the street.
yeah, I'm hoping that, was that with the protected buffer in there? Did they just drive over the protected buffer, or is this
They
an area
were,
that's?
it was in that area where the old church is, where that hamburger
Yeah,
place.
so that hasn't had the install yet. I have been kind of wondering what the best way to deal with delivery drivers are, because they often just block the road. To me, it makes more sense that they would stop in the center turn lane, like most food distribution or drink distribution. So that might need to be a call elsewhere. I'm kind of curious, in other 3-lane areas, like along Millage Avenue, do delivery drivers just pull over to the curb there? Or do they stop in the center turn lane? So
Don't we have, but they usually stop in the center turn lane, and isn't that what we kind of do in some other places too, like downtown now? In some
Um,
streets.
I think so, but
Yeah.
This is Ronnie. Daniel, let's go ahead and initiate conversation with traffic to better plan this, make sure we have a, a solution by, hopefully by the end of the week. I don't know if this was thought of during the configuration. Typically, delivery happens on site of the business. Downtown is different. Downtown is kind of inherited system that we're working with, where delivery park in the street, but that's not how it is on Baxter, for example, or Chase Street. Usually businesses have enough yard for these trucks to park and make their delivery safely. Maybe, like I said, let's take a look at that. Appreciate the comment, Todd. This is definitely important to know, and if we haven't thought about it, now we need to think about it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I had one comment, and it may be resolved very soon, which is I was traveling in my vehicle on Prince. I wanted to drive the length of the pilot, so from Millage to Prince, and then at the point where it ends at Doherty, there was confusion about who gets to go straight and who's supposed to turn left. And I thought I was supposed to go straight and the person next to me was supposed to turn left, but they thought they were supposed to go straight. So there wasn't really room for me to go straight. I had to wait for them to get out of my way. So
you're talking about where the lane of travel turns into a right turn lane?
Yes.
Yes, so that's what I spoke to earlier. A lot of people are getting confused by that.
Yes.
If you're traveling down Prince Avenue, that lane turns into a right turn lane and you need to move into the left lane to go straight or left.
Okay. That was the confusion, because I thought that the person in that left lane was supposed to turn and that I would get to go straight. So
yeah, so just keep an eye out on those markings on the pavement. There's 3 right turn arrows as you approach that intersection. Usually there's a little more advanced notice, and that's what we're working on, is getting that more advanced notice in there. But that was just my advice, would be to try to keep an eye on those markings on the road, to understand where you're supposed to be. It always takes about 30 days usually for people to get used to a new traffic pattern. So
I have a question then. How long will this data gathering phase last? And then when are mayor and commission expected to vote on it?
Well, I don't believe the data gathering phase starts 30 days after completion of install, which it's still not fully installed yet. So it'll be, for the pilot as a whole is 60 days. And I think it's 30 days from the install. So the last 30 days will be that data gathering. I don't have those timelines. That's more of I can double check the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. Prince Avenue user group is meeting tomorrow, so
okay.
But I'll speak up if I get some details from that email.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. And I appreciate that, you know, not only is this a well thought out project, but that it's iterative and flexible enough to make tweaks and adjustments along the way. And that's just great. Again, this project is a long time coming, and a lot of people are spending a great deal of energy and effort to get it right. So I'm just thrilled so far.
And I just,
Yeah, I think to tack on to what Lauren was saying earlier, I mean, I got on the Bike Athens board in 2002 or 2003, was on for a long time. We worked on this project nonstop, shot down so many times, and tons of other organizations have been involved in it. I knew it was being striped middle of last week, and I got on my bike to go to Daly right ahead of dinner. And I noticed I could ride my bike in a bike lane on Prince Avenue, and like got very emotional by doing that. And the other thing I wanted to add was we were at the Grit the other night, the Mighty Grit, and watching, just sitting out there eating dinner right next to the street, and the traffic was moving slowly. The cars were moving slowly, but they were moving, and we saw no backups. So guys, it's working. Daniel, awesome job to you and your teammates at TPW.
I have to concur with that, John. I haven't tried it with a bicycle yet, but when I was driving that stretch, it really felt natural to be going more slowly, and it felt good. It didn't feel like, you know, oh, all these obstacles are just getting in my way and it's terrible and frustrating. It really felt nice, and the streetscaping was interesting because you all of a sudden I could imagine lots of human beings on either side of the road, and that hasn't ever happened before. You know, usually you're just zipping down the road and you know, hopefully you don't hit anybody. So good work.
yeah, it's a lot more simple than it appears. You know, really, it's you ride in this lane unless you're turning left, then you move into the center. Other than that, turn right at the road as you get to it. It's not a complicated design, but I think what people are just having to get used to is not being able to go around a car just to get there 2 seconds sooner, not even 2 full seconds. But yeah, I sat out there on game day this past weekend. Me and Scott sat out there, got some coffee, and we posted up for about 6 hours, I think. And I was checking, you know, there was a good flow of traffic. There was plenty of traffic coming through. And I was checking the traffic on Google Maps, and the section of Prince Avenue that's a pilot was orange, but it was moving, whereas like Broad Street was like dark red, you know, and that could have something to do with, you know, there's not a lot of people going out in the direction of Prince Avenue to exit the city. But I mean, people were definitely using Prince to exit, and they were moving more smoothly than most of the big exit roads. So,
Yeah, so along those lines, there's still some things that we can do to educate folks about the project. And Tool has put forth a a suggested social media timeline and types of posts kind of menu that we can pull from. So I'm going to share that real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not, because WebEx still won't let me share. But the TLDRs, there's a suggested schedule, and then there's types of posts we can do. I'm a little bit behind on this, but the items that I have posted are a historical take on Prince Avenue, and I have shared ACC Gov's official post about, you know, the timeline for the project. And then also, anytime there's a media reference, I share. Flagpole actually came out with a great question and answer article this week, or actually it was last week.
Lauren, double check and see if you can share now.
I can't. It's
okay.
I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm sorry about that.
Just so I'm sure if that fixed it.
So yeah, so some of the items that are in here, and this got shared to you all, is you know, a description of the various features along the pilot project. So like the zippers, the potential impact. And I do want to cover something about like what 3-laning does. And I'll try not to get into the weeds on this, but a lot of times folks think like if you reduce 4 automobile lanes down to 2, then that means, oh, we're going to only be able to fit half the number of cars, which means it's going to take me twice as long to get somewhere, but that's not really how it works. What gets us faster to places is improved flow. So I hope to do a post like that. And then, well, let me go ahead and say, if you are on social media and you see these posts, I mean, your networks, all of our networks combined are bigger than the Athens in Motion Facebook page. Okay, so please share this stuff as it comes up. Your opinion has more weight than, you know, this account. I'm just going to say that because your friends trust you. So please share this stuff and talk with people about it.
Are you guys doing any targeting or boosting?
I've not done any targeting or boosting yet.
I did. I boosted some one of the things you put out there, so
Okay. Yeah.
it didn't cost much.
What was the reach on it?
Well,
Do you
that's
know?
a good question. I'm not really sure. Let's see if I can figure it out.
Teresa, if you want to do like more boosting, and I'm happy to help you
Okay.
to target, you know, the right
All right.
Athens specific
I'm
people.
trying to- Okay, so I have my ad manager coming on here. All right.
Do y'all want to talk about this sometime?
Yeah, we can talk about it later.
Yeah. I meant offline.
Great, thank you. The other thing that is potentially coming out is I have gotten some video footage of Prince Avenue with the help of a friend. So I made sure to get before shots, so we have something to work with. And I don't know if at this point, if this is going to be a larger video or if it makes sense to do smaller chunks, kind of following the suggested topics in the social media timeline. But I talked about that with education and communications, and I did want to check in with you all and see if you felt like video was a good thing to spend some time on.
Well, if you can do it, why not? You know, if it's a skill you've got.
We did we got some shots with a GoPro. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But now I'm terrified to ride my bike on non-bike lanes roads when I see how close those cars are to me.
Right. I think that's very effective.
Okay. Thanks. Hopefully more to come from that. I have some footage of the stuff under construction, but I'm hesitant to get too much of that because I want to get the finished product. Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get some footage. I need to check internally to see if we've got some good footage of the Ziklas being installed. I think
okay.
that would be really good. So if you do happen to get that, just let me know. I'm going to check with the PIO as well to see if they have anything planned.
When are they being installed, Daniel? I can go out and take the footage.
Every day they're installing a few more. So I think they're doing it right now. They've got all of them installed on one side of the road, and up from Barber to Millage, and then they're installing them coming back now. So
Okay. I'll go out tomorrow and try to get some footage of them doing it.
cool.
Yeah, if there's footage that y'all are allowed to share that we might be able to use, love to receive that. Okay. Anything else on Prince Avenue? All right. And then we will send a letter to the mayor and commission after the pilot project, just a note. And Craig has had to dip out early. And as far as, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one more thing for Prince Avenue. We are doing a walk audit with mayor and commission. So once I have a final date and we have a schedule and everything and attendees figured out, I'll let you guys know if there's going to be a couple spots available for some of y'all to attend. You know, we don't want to make it too big of a thing, but I just need to get a little more information, but I wanted to let y'all know that that was planned. So
yeah, definitely interested in that if that wouldn't be too overwhelming to have my presence there in my role. Definitely want the commissioners to feel they can be candid.
okay. Depends on the level of energy you bring.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. These zippers. I love them. Okay. So we will go ahead and move on to staff updates for the next hour until 5:50. We're a little ahead of schedule. Maybe we can keep it that way. Todd, are you ready to give your update? You might have been getting ready, going to grab some water. I will say, I meant to send y'all a picture. I saw some wooden poles sitting outside the Trail Creek crossing trestle. So it seems like the wooden part will be installed soon. And of course, Mark sent us the shot of the concrete decking going over the metal components. So it's looking like a bridge, looking like a trail. Hey, Todd.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had myself on mute.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So, I was trying to get one last little thing done on my PowerPoint, which
Well,
will take.
you can take him in. I can find something to ramble about.
Yeah, I can. I can ramble for 45 minutes now.
Okay, I think I'm ready. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but
It's better than my presentation, which is nothing.
let's see, screen 2. Okay, is it shared the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I see the wood. The wood
Yes.
has arrived.
So the timber is for the timber bridge is being staged on site, and the should start next week, starting to erect the timber structure. Concrete is getting ready to be poured up on the Poplar Street side, and then handrails will come soon on the park side of the bridge project. We're still estimating probably a January completion date on the project. And then cemetery project, I don't know if any of y'all have sneaked through, but the trail is completed. And they are basically finishing the fences and the entrance columns and applying anti-graffiti coat, paving the driveway where it abuts the bridge connection. They're finalizing a lot of just fine tuning things out there, and we're anticipating a November, I believe, November 2nd opening for the trail official.
Nice. Is the cemetery bridge reopened for the cemetery?
They're still working on it.
Okay.
So I saw one of the pictures. It looked like they were beginning to pour the decking on it. So I don't know if it'll be open in time for the official opening or not.
Gotcha.
And then Cars Creek Greenway, it is out to bid currently. Bids are due October 18th on that one, with construction starting next year on that. And then Firefly Trail expansion, they're still working on the easements. They have gotten the first, like, what would be a first phase set of plans sent to plans review, which would start at the Hancock Road and go out to Rannick. So that one's in plans review. They have all the easements pretty much for that one, but the other ones they're still acquiring easements for those other sections. And then let's see, did I skip? Nope. Firefly Trail East Broad Street trailhead improvements. They should be finished with the underground improvements by Friday, and then the landscape improvements, and then the concrete trail that will tie into the curb cut. That all should happen over the next couple 2 to 3 weeks. And so by the end of October, everything for this trailhead should be completed and operational. And then the art for the Greenway, we had last week, or the last 2 weeks, we've had art selections. And so for the East Campus Greenway connector, the mural wall near the Waffle House area, that one has an artist selected. It was a RFP process. And so they're waiting on mayor and commission approval of the art. And then it will start to be installed. And then the North Oconee Access Road, it was a RFQ process. And so we selected 3 artists to provide final concepts. And then from there, we'll look at selecting one of the artists to do the mural. So those
Todd,
two
what's RFQ?
requests for qualifications
Okay.
versus requests for proposal.
What does qualifications mean? I'm just curious.
Mostly what they did is they were mostly providing their existing work, what they have done in the past, and they just had a simple little concept. And then now what we're going to do is pay each one of those 3 artists $400 a stipend to develop the final concept. So
Okay.
we had about 20 something artists from all over the nation apply for the North Oconee Access Road, and we had about 18 artists for the wall, the mural wall.
Is there any priority on local artists or no?
There is not. It's a complete blind selection and all. I believe the wall, I think it's a local artist, and then the access road, I'm not sure if any local artist made that one or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, that'd be you can check in with Tatiana Veneruso with that. She's with Leisure Services. She's the arts coordinator. And she's the main person with all these SPLOST art projects. So we have a few coming up with her as well for bridges and roundabouts and that kind of stuff.
So that's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Todd. And yeah, for the benefit of the commission and anyone watching, all of our SPLOST projects include 1% set aside for public art. So this is something voters approved to do public art. And I think it's a wonderful thing that including our roundabouts get art as well. So that's great. Thank you, Todd, for that update.
Okay, and I'll stop sharing if I can figure out how.
Right. And then Daniel and
Share
Sherelle
screen.
up.
Yeah.
And
Here, I'll just share and then take over control.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Yeah, so for our stuff update, we submitted the Safe Streets for All grant. Sherelle kind of jumped in and saved me on that one. Took care of the narrative, and we got all the final little pieces put together and submitted. So that's for $1 million to go towards planning for Vision Zero and other projects. Sherelle, do you have anything about that one that you wanted to talk about?
I really hope we get it, because that would be one of the things that we were able to include in the budget was like funding for, hey, sorry, my son is homesick right now.
Aw.
He's very pitiful. We were able to include funding for tactical urbanism. What's the term that we're using, Daniel? Quick build.
Yeah, quick build pilot projects.
Quick build pilot materials. So it would plan, it would fund a Vision Zero action plan, which is obviously something really stoked about, and also all of the like quick build materials so we can go in and kind of do not tactical urbanism if the county's doing it, but like kind of go in and demonstrate more easily, like I'm hoping we could buy some like street appropriate like chalk paint or something that goes away, but we can demonstrate like public art, or I'm not exactly sure what we'll do with it, but I really hope we get it because I think it's gonna be really amazing.
Yeah, it'll be, we'll be able to get lane separators, some flex posts, that paint that goes on pavement for kind of doing delineated bulb outs and those kinds of things. So like, whereas with Prince Avenue, we specifically had to like go out and buy that, and it was all part of a kind of big package. This would be buying a lot of those materials ahead of time and having them on hand so that we could do smaller build out. If there's a road safety audit at an intersection where there seems to be really wide turns that are available and people are kind of speeding through those, we could put in, barriers that kind of temporarily limit it down, make it smaller, and then do more of a traffic study of what are the impacts of this on this local road. So
And so that way the public understands what this is about. Is this something that potentially someone, like, I live in a neighborhood, there's cars flying down my street, or it's not really safe to cross here, that this is something that there would be like some tools they could use and we could install, kind of like a pilot project on a smaller scale, like neighborhoods?
We kind of already have that with the neighborhood traffic calming program, but this could supplement that. And also, this is separate but related, I'm working on a speed management toolkit right now, and that's right now neighborhood traffic calming, it's very speed bumps is kind of like put in some speed bumps. But we're working on some other ideas that would include this kind of quick build material stuff that could calm traffic in maybe like more creative ways. Like, do we want to try using public art or flowers, landscaping, that kind of stuff? Then yeah, certainly these materials could go through that. And I know we have one pilot project in the works right now for traffic calming that's going to use public art. So that's certainly something we can do more of.
Yeah, they would mostly be projects that we most likely identified, but that's a whole policy that we would need to set up once we got this library of things. We'll have to develop a policy for it. So, and that's just for like a third of the funds. The grant really goes into a lot of the Vision Zero action plan, safe routes to schools, safe routes to parks, different wayfinding plans. Basically, the goal here is to just get a bunch of plans kind of in the works, sidewalk gap program that can help us not only address safety, but also prioritize. And then there's a pretty comprehensive public engagement that would need to happen. And all of that's outlined in the goals of the grant. So should be great. Another part of it is paying for data, so we can get better access to data. And that's a good transition to our next point. We are in the middle of, it should be finalized hopefully next week or the week after, and we'll have access to streetlight data, which is our traffic analytics platform. Really excited about that. The plan with this data is to, there's 50 seats available for the county. We'll have access to all the road segments, all of the, we can upload unlimited amount of zones to really do any type of analysis. So one of the things that we'll be using this for is to look at the existing youth as a future criteria for the Athens in Motion prioritization. We could actually, now that we will have that data, we can use that as a metric for priority of where to build our infrastructure. If people are already using these spaces, that can be one of the elements. And we can get more into that later, but we are acquiring that. And I've already received a few calls from other departments of, hey, let me know when that comes online, because I have some ideas for some studies I want to do. So we'll have that for 6 months. So a lot of our effort, for the next 6 months are going to be focused on that. And that was due to huge help from our director, Stephen Bailey, Ronnie, to get the funds for Transportation Public Works to come from us. We paid for half of it. And then Athens Transit paid for a portion, and Leisure Services also paid for a portion. So big thanks to them. Todd's team will be able to use it for their master planning efforts. And, we're really excited to have access to that.
Thrilled. I mean, that's great. Like, we have some great data collection tools, but to have this available to us, and not just for transportation purposes, but other purposes, is just a big win and makes our planning so much smarter.
Yeah. It's to the level of detail where we could actually look on a game day and we could say, okay, this game day from 2018 or from 2019, let's draw a polygon around the stadium, and we can see, where throughout the state the highest concentration people are traveling from and to. So it can really actually get into event planning, and looking at performance of those things. What is the reach of the Above Athens Festival? How far did people come to that event? That kind of thing. So it takes a sample size. It does not have any personal identifying information, but it does give us a lot of really great data to work with. So moving on to the next item, bike-friendly community application. I went ahead and moved that to the spring deadline. I talked with the team over there, and we can apply as often as we want. We can reapply as often as we want. Even if we get a designation, that designation is valid for 4 years, but really we could reapply every year if we wanted to. Not that we would need to, but that application is really, it's quite substantial, but it's also a really great guidebook of what we need to be aiming for. So we're going to be getting a lot of the needed studies and, at least the short-term goals set up as part of this application. So we can go ahead and figure out what it is that we have, what we're doing in our community. And then once we apply in the spring, they'll give us feedback on what we could focus on. And then we can use that as kind of a launching pad for what to focus. As far as the Athens in Motion plan development, that's our revision. We've been delayed on that with all the grants and just unexpected things coming up, but I am really wanting to get started on that this fall. So it might be that it's best to either break it into committees or have some special called sessions where we can really, or maybe even some work sessions where we come into, the office into, and just work on it for a day or a weekend or something. Or maybe we can, just knock out a lot of kind of ideas and stuff.
Yeah, great idea.
Barber Street project is about to open up for public input. You guys saw the most recent version of this. I'm going to share my screen. So this specifically is looking at segment 4. As y'all might remember, y'all saw a presentation with some various different types of facilities that we could do in that segment. Once this survey is going to be open through October 16th, so it opens on the 3rd through the 16th, and they're putting together a story map, and the goal with this timeline will be to setting up a special call session with you guys around October 19th. So I'd like to get that on the calendar today. We can wait for the end of the meeting, or we can go ahead and do it now if y'all like. And then we're going to aim for a November work session with Mayor and Commission. So that deadline is 10/25 for the presentation. So that's kind of our general timeline. And then we'll be able to get to the November work session with the December vote. So do you guys want to go ahead and set up a special called session to go over the public input?
Yes, and we had I think that we had set our special called session day as, what is it, like 2 Thursdays before our meetings, so like October 13th, but y'all won't be ready then for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
We
saying
could do Tuesday the 18th or Thursday the 20th.
How about Thursday, the 20th?
So if we do it during our normal slot, that would go where the Projects and Policy Committee meeting is. So we'd have to go sooner than that.
Okay, is that, if we do it on Tuesday, Daniel, is that when Education and Communications is supposed to?
No, Education Communications is the week before that.
Oh, then let's just do it on the 18th.
So does 4:30 work or sooner?
Works for me.
4:30 is fine.
All right. So if there's no objections, I will do 4:30 to 5:30. I don't think we need more than an hour. We'll be reviewing the public engagement and go from there. Next item, our ongoing construction projects. The Tallahassee Bridge replacement is moving along. Ronnie, do you have any updates on that?
No, it is moving along. We finished all the subsurface and columns, and now we are working on the decking of the bridge. So it's on schedule. The project is scheduled to be complete by October of next year.
Excellent. And boulevard improvements is in here. I think that was part of the NTMP program, Neighborhood Traffic Management Program. And the speed tables have been installed. I believe that project's done, but I haven't checked with traffic engineering to see if there's any other elements that are being included there. And then Prince Avenue Pilot, as y'all are aware, is still undergoing construction. So that should be done soon. And I did post a schedule in the chat just to run through some of the highlight points. The story map is live right now. The survey opens on the 30th of this month and it closes November 23rd. We have had our first focus group meetings and drafted up the results of that, and those are going to be presented at the Prince Avenue user group meeting tomorrow. And then, as you know, we've been coordinating with you guys for the public engagement on Porch Fest. So it looks like there are currently 4 volunteers that are going to be there from the user group. And they also have some time slots there. So I'm probably going to use the same time slots. Lauren, if you are putting together a sign-up sheet for that, it might be good to use those time slots that are
Great idea.
outlined in the chat. The Mayor and Commission Walk is scheduled for October 18th, 4 to 5:30 at City Hall. Like I said, I'm going to double check and see if we can get a couple slots for you guys. And then we also have another Commissioners-elect walk for the 19th, the day after that, that next morning. The Mayor and Commission Walk is before their, I believe, work session. So they're going to be able to walk, and then by the time they get back, they're going to start their work session. And then Commissioners-elect walk, we just want to make sure that all the commissioners, all the new commissioners had a chance to also take a look at it and see this project that's going on.
Great. Thank you so much for doing that. And when did you say the commissioner walk is? The main?
October 18th.
Oh, is that just when we scheduled our special called session?
Yes, it is. So in that case, we are not going to be doing a special call session.
Sorry, team. So much going on. So much going on.
That did not make it onto my calendar yet. So let's see. So what day would y'all like to do a special call session?
Any day but Wednesday works for me.
All right, so any day. Anybody else?
Wednesday. Wednesday's bad.
Yeah, if we do it on the 20th, then why can't we do it on, we don't think we'd have enough time to go over this on the 25th.
If we do it on the 20th, we could do from 3 to 4. The Projects and Policy Committee is from 4 to 5:30, unless Randy wants to volunteer to move that to a different day.
I'm fine with moving it.
All right. So we'll just plan for our special called session to be on Thursday, the 20th. And as far as timing, is there something that doesn't work for anyone? Because we will need to have a quorum there, so I want to make sure everybody's available to make it. Is 3 o'clock available for everyone?
No, can we do after 4, before 6? Can we?
So 4 o'clock available for everyone?
Sorry, Daniel, remind me of the date.
October 20th.
Yeah, 4 o'clock's okay for me. The later the worse as a rule, but that 4 o'clock could work.
Perfect.
Is there anyone for whom that would not work for, or who is concerned about that? We speak. We can't all see you. Okay.
I'm not positive I can make it. I got to double check on something.
Okay. Thank you, Dale.
All right. Well, if we get Teresa, Lauren, Randy, John,
Well,
Blaine.
Are we approving anything, or we're just hearing out the public input?
I think it's kind of that final recommendation that would go to Mayor and Commission.
Okay, yeah.
So this is the based on public engagement for the Barber Street concepts. What
Okay.
Option are we sending to Mayor and Commission as a recommended option, and why? So that we can then put that in the presentation for their work session, and then they can vote based on that.
Thank you. Thank you. This isn't just like looking at public input just to see.
Right.
Right. Thank you. Very important.
All right. I'm going to schedule it for 4 to 5. I really hope everyone can be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and send that out now.
Yeah. I will make a note. I know some folks aren't here, so I will emphasize that the importance of this special called meeting and the purpose behind it, and to let us know ASAP if this will not work.
Yes, I will get it on our calendar.
Yeah, it's just creeping up on us. Tight timeline. Everything's gonna happen fast.
Yeah. All right. My final little, so I think that's all I got for current construction projects. I'm not going to go into detail on all the other in progress projects. You guys know that those exist. In the future, I'm hoping to kind of send you my holistic update of here are all the projects, and then you guys could pick a few that you want to hear details about, and then you know, we can kind of go from there. But in the meantime, I think we went to enough detail here. I want to let Sherelle take some time to talk about kind of what she's got working on. So do you want me to, do you have the agenda pulled up, Sherelle? I've put some stuff in there for you. But.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. Sorry, I was trying to make sure Teresa had my correct email address. It went away. Sorry. So I've been working on the local road safety plan. We had a workshop, was it 2 weeks ago, I think, 2 Mondays ago, with GDOT, and got started on the draft for that. We're taking like a safe systems approach to that. So looking at not just where are the most dangerous corridors and what are our biggest problems, but kind of trying to identify where similar roads might cause problems in the future. So the goal for that is, once this grant is done, to compile all of the data and package it in a way that is really user-friendly, and then bring together some stakeholders to come up with solutions for each of our main problem areas, which I can briefly tell you. Basically, intersections is our #1 issue. The people from USDOT were like, Georgia just has a really bad intersection problem, and then our Athens numbers are actually even worse than Georgia as a whole. So we have very bad intersection problems. So that's probably going to be our #1 priority for a while. And then distracted driving was another big issue that came up, and impaired driving. And then finally pedestrians, which kind of goes hand in hand with the crappy intersections. So we will be packaging kind of the data about those and where we're seeing those issues, and our most dangerous intersections for each, or street segments for each of those. And then I'll probably come to the table with some solutions, but also we'll, have stakeholders there. I'm not sure if Athens in Motion will want to be part of that process. Well, we can chat about it later. And then for the Reconnecting Communities grant, we decided to go ahead and apply for it for Hawthorne Avenue. So where it's Hawthorne Avenue between Oglethorpe and then all the way down to where it becomes the Alps and touches Baxter. So kind of connecting, multiple hospitals, affordable housing communities, and the elementary school, middle school, high school, library, YMCA, multiple parks. There's a lot along that corridor that is currently really dangerous to walk or bike to. It's especially if you live on the western side of Hawthorne Ave above Broad, it's pretty dangerous to cross Hawthorne and get to any of the things on the eastern side. So our grant is a planning grant. It's about $700,000 grant that we're applying for. Again, money for public engagement, money for traffic studies, feasibility studies, plans, consultants. And yeah, I'm writing that narrative right now. It's there's a big priority on historically disadvantaged communities. So trying to tell the history of the Brookside affordable housing developments that are there, and just the historically disadvantaged communities that are there, and there's churches there. There's a lot of places people want to be able to walk to, but right now it's too dangerous. So also we're hoping to connect somehow, maybe get like a shared use path to the Beach Haven Park.
Nice. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Those are like the honestly, the grant has been taking up most of my time this week and last because it's a big project to write a whole grant narrative. We're not using a consultant on this one. I'm just writing it. So it's between that, Safe Streets for All, and Local Road Safety Plan. I've only been in this job 3 weeks, so.
Yeah, Sherelle, you really hit the ground running. We're just thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it. Oh, I'm also working on the speed management toolkit, but that's just slowly adding to it as time allows.
Wonderful. Well, thank y'all for those updates. I know there's a lot going on, and I appreciate you getting up and going to work every day. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and I just love that we get to hear about it and try and translate that for the public. So thank you for choosing your jobs. So we will move on now to committee report backs. For items not already discussed, we'll start off with our corridor committees, and I know that Atlanta Highway, Teresa has some things to share from the open houses and what's going on with that corridor. Teresa?
Okay, well, I've had a busy weekend with the Atlanta Highway. So the background, for those of you who don't already know this, is that Mayor and Commission asked the Atlanta Highway User Group to oversee the study and design for sidewalk or shared use paths along Mitchell Bridge and Timothy Roads. Upon completion of those plans, then we did a pretty extensive public outreach. And I really have to hand it to staff. They did an excellent job. We had over 200 people respond to the survey from both Timothy and Mitchell Bridge roads, and it was really great. We got some wonderful data. Okay, so the main 5 points are: there's a high demand for shared use paths for walking and bicycling, to recreation, shopping, worship, etc. And that's along both corridors. Shared use paths are favored 2 to 1 over sidewalks. That's kind of across the board. The respondents, a majority of respondents felt that areas with no infrastructure should have a higher priority for construction over converting existing sidewalks to shared use paths. Timothy Road residents overwhelmingly favor building the shared use paths, but are divided over which side of Timothy Road to build it on. Mitchell Bridge Road residents are less united in favor of building infrastructure based on the comments that we read. There's some community consensus building that really needs to be done because some of the comments indicated that there was a lot of discomfort on the part of some homeowners along the corridor. And what, and the way the project analysis was done, we broke it up into 5 segments. So the first segment is Timothy Road from Atlanta Highway to Skyline Parkway, and that goes across Epps Bridge. Right now there are 5-foot sidewalks from Atlanta Highway to Epps Bridge. And then from Epps Bridge, the parallel sidewalks kind of peter out, and then they kind of switch from one side of the street to the other. And then by the time you get to Fox Trace, it's all gone. That's it. So the second segment would be on Timothy Road from Skyline Parkway to Timothy Baptist Church. And so, there is a little bit of sidewalk from Skyline Parkway to Fox Trace, and then there's a small sidewalk that fronts the town's walk community But other than that, there is nothing. There's also a transit stop that serves the church and the River Club Townhomes community. The third segment is Timothy Road from Timothy Baptist Church down to Macon Highway. And that's kind of an interesting segment. So the main constituents, in addition to, well, in this segment, the main constituents would be the Berkeley Hills neighborhood, and then the street fronting homes between the Timothy intersection and Rhodes Drive. There's also a transit stop at Rhodes Drive, and there are no sidewalks or anything for transit users to take advantage of. And of course, there are no bike lanes. The grade after Rhodes becomes extremely steep as it heads down to Macon Highway, which is closer to the level of the river.
And that's a pain to bike up.
Yeah,
We'll say that, especially in traffic.
So for this one, we looked at an option to extend the Skyline Parkway to Timothy Baptist Church down to Rhodes Drive. So extend that segment just a bit. And then another option along with that would be to direct bike and pedestrian traffic through the Glenview neighborhood, which looks like there will be some sort of a connection to Berkeley Hills because there's a closed off street, but I think that could be opened up to bicycle and pedestrian traffic. Okay, then the last segment is Mitchell Bridge from Auburn Parkway past Ben Burton Park to the end of the Westchester sidewalk. And the Westchester sidewalk is pretty wide, so it could serve as a multi-use path or shared use path. And that's kind of a complicated stretch also. There's an alternative path which would move away from the road from the High Ridge Apartments to River Ridge Drive. And I couldn't tell that the questions were not really clear to me, how to pick your favorite of those two. So I don't know what the advantages and disadvantages are to keeping the multi-use path at the same grade as the road or right next to the road, or taking it up on the ridge there and running parallel to the road. So at our meeting, we reviewed Derek's direction to us that we develop a motion for the Atlanta Highway User Group to direct the mayor and commission about how to prioritize funding for Timothy and Mitchell Bridge Road projects. And because we couldn't really resolve that in the Atlanta Highway User Group meeting, I asked Derek if it would be okay, from the rules and regulations and legal standpoints, if Alan Jones and Ed Robinson and Janice Custis and I were to meet separately to strategize over this. And so I basically stalked all those people to make them come to a meeting at my house, and I got 3 out of 4. So I got myself, Alan, and Ed Robinson, who is a former Athens commissioner before Jerry Neesmith. And I never heard from Janice Custis. So she's the other one who would be on that Mitchell Bridge side of the equation. But the 3 of us, spent like 2.5 hours together, and we kind of came up with a list of questions because we were tasked with deciding what to do on both of those questions. And we came up with some different questions, and we really couldn't decide on Timothy Road what the best option was because like with Timothy, the questions were how to connect single homes and cul-de-sac neighborhoods safely and conveniently with the shared use path on the opposite side of the road, how to minimize tree loss, how to maximize transit stop access, how to ensure safety for all users between Rambling Road and Cheatham Drive, which is where the guardrail is, which is, pretty steep drop off. And so, the big question is would that sidewalk go kind of below that guardrail, or would it be on the other side of the street? There's not a clear answer to that question. And then, the real question that we kind of have for staff is how to maximize our long-term return on investment of T-SPLOST funds. So, if we design it and build it, we don't want to be in 10 years or 20 years ripping it up to, improve it, because we did a short-term solution instead of doing a long-term solution. So what we want to do is put in something that's going to work for the long term. Now, Ed Robinson used to live over in the High Ridge area of Mitchell Bridge, and so he's very familiar with the problems there. And so it's interesting to have him in the discussion. He was concerned about slowing the traffic on both sides of that loop bridge, which is on the bridge replacement schedule, but who knows when that'll happen. Because, the traffic approaching the bridge is pretty fast. And so it'd be nice if in both directions it could be slowed down. Then he was concerned with how to connect South Side homes safely and conveniently to the shared use path on the north side. Then how to mitigate tree loss, and how to minimize impacts on community entrances. But there's a lot of sensitivity about the community entrances. People over there have spent a lot of time and money and, volunteer hours making it beautiful. And, so they're very concerned about that. And then a similar, maximization of investment of the T-SPLOST funds. So we came up with a draft motion for discussion, for the Atlanta Highway Users Group. And I won't read it to you all right now, but basically it's what three of us think would be the best approach to this. And then, we'll take it to the Atlanta Highway Users Group and then see where everyone comes out with that. And hopefully we can get some guidance from staff about where to put the path on Timothy Road, and then, what the issues are with the elevated setback versus the at grade on Mitchell Bridge. So that's that. We've been busy.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, certainly that corridor has, different characteristics the further you go down, as you mentioned. Daniel, do we still have TPW staff attending those meetings? I feel like the user group is having to get into a lot of detail here.
I was not able to attend. Ronnie, were you able to do that user group meeting?
No, I have not.
Okay.
So Stephen might have been there, but
Daniel, I sent you my memo, so you have the memo that Alan and Ed and I wrote up to send back to the user group.
Yeah, so Derek said it was okay that you guys meet outside of the user group.
He did.
Okay.
And we did, and, so then while we were just sitting there in my dining room, we wrote up the memo. And so you should have it in your inbox, and Derek should have it in his inbox, but,
So is that memo what your motion is going to be?
That's what we're working off of. I mean, it's not complete because you see, the first point on the motion is, we need guidance from staff to tell us, do we do the north side or the south side of Timothy Road? What's the best placement for that path? We didn't feel like we could make a recommendation on that,
Yeah. No, I think it's odd that y'all were tasked with that. So
it was just more than we felt like we could do. And so we'd like to hear from staff what they think, because we want it to be safe. We wanted to, link everybody together. And we want people to be happy with it. We don't want to have, people losing their front yard trees if they don't have to. You know, we don't want to lose any trees if we can prevent that. So.
Yeah. I know one of the questions we had was kind of what you mean by fully developed shovel-ready projects.
Well, that was our understanding, is that we would use the T-SPOS 2018 funds to finish the design.
Okay, so that's just talking about design, not actual construction.
Correct. Yeah. The idea was to have these things ready so that, you know, when the 2023 funds are ready, you know, then we could just go ahead and put them in the queue.
Okay. Yeah, we're reviewing that memo internally, so we'll talk about it at the next meeting. And yeah, I don't remember exactly. There's been some overlapping meetings lately that where I had to not attend it. So yeah, I do want to get to where I can go to those. So I think at this next one, I should be available and I should be there.
Okay, so yeah, Derek would like us to it be queued up to put this question on the mayor and commission's agenda setting meeting, and I think that one would be in November.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but you might want to check with him because he's the boss of that game.
Cool.
And so it's going to go before the mayor and commission is a recommendation for facilities and what side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. We would answer the mayor and commission's question that they put to us. You know, they want us to recommend how and where to allocate the resources, and so we're close, but we're, you know, we need to get the whole user group and some staff to help us.
Great, thank you, Teresa. Any updates on Lexington?
Yes, there was no meeting for September, but Derek sent out some updates. The mayor commission approved the preliminary plans for the Lexington Road, the sidewalks, and the staff met with the GDOT area inspector to review the plans. And apparently no concerns were raised, so that's a good thing. And the output of that meeting was that the GDOT inspector requested that the county prepare plans for submission of an official permit review phase. That's the update for this month.
Great, thank you. And I still have an outstanding action item related to reaching out to the county manager about Athens in Motion serving as the user group for some of these T-SPOS 2023 projects that we submitted. So that's on my to-do list. Sorry for the delay there. And we've gotten the update on Prince Avenue. And I have reached out to a couple of our commissioners-elect to talk about transportation if they would like from a non-staff perspective, understanding that I am not staff and not the expert. Okay, so moving on to our other committees. Grants and data, any updates?
They did not meet.
Okay. And policy and projects, still working on crosswalk policy. Do we have, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if we had any updates on our parking in the bike lanes ordinance.
I haven't worked on it at all.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So in regards on the crosswalk policy, so we did meet last Thursday, and just a quick discussion. Actually, it wasn't an official meeting because there was only 3 of us, but we did take a quick look at the policies that were emailed out. Kind of like the El Cerrito, had nice text. It wasn't overly complicated, but like the tables and examples out of the Denver crosswalk policy, So I'm going to be working on combining those two to come up maybe with a draft that we can send out and then take a look at the next policy and projects meeting, and then ultimately present that to the full Athens in Motion. Daniel taking a look at it.
Great. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that one. Change jobs. And I don't think we have a set quorum for our committee because we don't have a set number of members per committee.
And the issue with that was that my WebEx wasn't streaming, so I couldn't actually stream it properly. And then apparently today, this one that we're streaming now went into that one. So I do have to make some changes to our agenda after the fact, but it is shown on YouTube. It's just they had to retitle it. So there was just some weirdness with WebEx.
Gotcha. Finally, our other committees and commissions. Let's start with UGA. Blaine, how are things going over on campus, which I am no longer on?
They're going well. Don't really have much. I touched on last month the lighting out at our new park and ride expansion, our new phase that it backs up right to the Greenway, and that lighting, it was delayed and it was being installed today, yesterday and today, so it should be up. And those lights that are being installed kind of sit back right over that section of the Greenway that backs up to the park and ride lot. So that some much needed, excuse me, lighting for that section of campus, and timely too with the changing of the kind of the weather, with it getting dark a little earlier. It'll be nice to have some more lighting out there. So that's all I really have right now. I'll touch on a little bit. I'm going to reach out to Scott at some point too, because we're going to have our annual car inspection, bicycle inspection, safe drive event in November. And Bike Athens has always been a great partner for that. So I'll be reaching out to Scott this week to see if he can participate. Thank you, Scott. I will formally reach out this week. But I'll keep everybody involved in that also. That's all we have going on right now.
Great, thank you for the update. And again, it's one of the things we heard from students was lighting was certainly an issue. So really excited to get some lights back there. It's awesome. And Greenway, Dale, you got any updates for us?
Yes, the Greenway Committee, Commission, I should say, met. One of the items we discussed was, we've already heard that the cemetery section is almost finished, and we're working on a little event for that first in November. We did table at one event. I think it was the same event that Athens in Motion tabled at, and we got some feedback from the folks. I was not able to be there, but we got feedback from the folks that represented us. I heard some of the same feedback. We had some questions and concerns about lighting on the Greenway, if that was going to be in the future on sections of the Greenway, particularly that goes underneath the loop there, type situation. So we did get some feedback there. And then we are discussing ways to try to increase our membership. We've got 3 open positions right now on the Greenway Commission, and trying to get applicants for that. So if you know of anybody that would be interested, please let me know. But we need more members of that commission. That's about it.
Thanks a lot, Dale. And then as far as T-Splost goes, I don't think we had a meeting yesterday, but I realized I need to update my email address. So if we did, I'm sorry, I don't have any updates from there. But as always, you can go to the ACC Gov website, and if you click on T-Splost 2018, you will see a detailed status report on all of those projects, and it's really nifty. I have not looked at it recently. Clayton Street looks great. Very excited about Clayton Street. We gotta put that treatment on Washington and Hancock, maybe. You know, widen those sidewalks, improve those crossings. Yeah. T-SPOS 2023, we talked about, that was one of the things that came up during our conversation, our presentation last week from Stephen about funding sources. I need to, again, I have an action item to get with the manager and about ensuring that Athens in Motion is the user group. And I don't think there are any updates on the T-SPOS website about project order. Daniel, Ronnie, have you heard anything? Or Tom, even?
For T-SPOS 23?
For 2023 about project order?
So there is an agenda for the tiering that's going in front of Mayor and Commission. If you want to review that, I don't have the details. I don't recall the details, but you may want to review the agenda currently on Mayor and Commission agenda to vote Tuesday, October 4th. There might be a commission-defined option. It depends if the priority as it's provided by the SPLOST office is subject to change per a commission-defined option. So until the vote, that's what the recommendation is.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. I thought something was coming up. I'll take a look at that agenda. It may not be up yet, but appreciate that. Okay. Oops. All right. Well, is there any other business? And while y'all are thinking about that, something I was considering putting at the end of our meetings, as we have time, is a quick go through of each commissioner and taking maybe like 30 seconds to a minute or so if you have any parting thoughts or anything else you want to say, just to make sure that everyone gets a chance to talk. I know I didn't put that on the agenda today, so it's not official, but I'll put it on the next agenda. And since we have some time, if anyone would like to share a thought, I'll receive it. Maybe I'll go down the line, and if you want to pass, that's fine. We'll start with, who's first? Blaine?
Yeah, nothing else to add. Well, I'll say that it was nice to, although I was only there very briefly, it was nice to see and meet some of you in person at the UGA Bike Safety Day. Look forward to meeting in person, in the future.
Great. Nice to see you too. It's like, oh, it's Blaine. All right. Craig, I know that you're dialing in from phone. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, hey everybody. I'll just briefly touch on what I was planning on doing. And do we have a sense, I didn't hear it, of what committee I might present this? So the idea in July and August, while I wasn't having to deal with school schedules, I had a little more flexibility in my schedule and I wanted to bike and bus to work. I have about a 6-mile commute, but then that spurred on an interest in using the bus as much as possible. I love public transportation and using buses when I can, and it's a really good option for me. But do you have a sense of what committee that might be presented to, just sort of to give that some legs? Because we don't talk much about bus in our meetings relative to other type of projects, but I think it fits within the scope. Is that right?
Yeah, bus access is an important part of the plan, connecting to those stops, having that last mile, half mile connection. I mean, maybe policy and projects. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I can see that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of the three, that would be the one.
Okay. So maybe at the next policy and projects, I'll plan to just present to you all what I pieced together.
Okay, I'll put you on the agenda.
Thanks, Randy.
And I put a checkbox under your name for Policy and Projects Committee. but but we need to add a line then, don't we? Let's add a line. What are we going to call it, Craig?
Anecdotal bus audit.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Craig. And thanks, Teresa. Dale, any parting thoughts?
As new as I am, I'm just really trying to absorb everything and get a feeling for where these two commissions meet and join and have joint interest. Also, since I've been on both of these commissions, I haven't met anybody in person. It's all been online. So I'm looking forward to the time when we actually, besides Daniel, I met face to face with Daniel, but the rest of you, it's all been in these little boxes, and I'd like to get away from that sometime in the near future. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe our next meeting. And Daniel, thank you for meeting up with Dale. I'm glad y'all got to meet at least. John?
Yeah, hey everybody. Couple of quick notes. Sorry to shoot that thing into the chat before I started talking. Georgia Bike Walk Live Summit is happening November 4th and 5th. So Friday the 4th will be virtual workshops, just kind of classic conference fair, but online. And then Saturday, we're looking at mobile workshops throughout the state in different locations. So in person, outside, opportunities to connect, back with your bike walk family from across Georgia, who you probably haven't seen in a few years. Scott and I have been talking about a mobile workshop for Prince Avenue on bikes, and I'm going to see if I can get the mayor to lead one on foot for the Prince Avenue section. And as an educator and advocate, in addition to his better known role, I think Kelly would be a fantastic leader for something like that. If I can't, Lauren, I may talk to you about that if you don't mind. Another thing I wanted to note is always happy to have memberships. Thanks to Randy for joining at UGA Bike Ped Safety Day. And then finally, last link I'm going to put in that may be relevant to what Craig was talking about. MARTA Army did a great presentation at our summit last year. They've done really extensive work looking at bus stops throughout MARTA's service area. And man, oh man, there's some powerful stuff in there. I'll see if I can dig up the presentation as well from our summit last year. It's truly great volunteer work on their part. And that's all I have. Oh yeah, you know what? The only other thing I wanted to note was I was going to throw a link in here too. If you're going to join Georgia Bikes, join Bike Athens too. I'm sure Scott would not turn you away.
Yeah, Bike Athens, they're all right, I guess. Great. All right, going next down the line of commissioners, Teresa?
Oh, hello. I just want to say two things. One, that I really appreciate everyone on Athens in Motion and our staff who keep us honest. And I am deeply and truly disappointed that I am going to miss the Porch Fest and the tabling thereof. So I wish you all the best. I hope that there's good weather, and I'll be thinking of you.
Yeah, we'll be thinking of you too, Teresa. And then ex officio, unofficio, ex officio, Scott, got some thoughts?
This whole week we're just sort of gearing up for Porch Fest. We're doing our class tomorrow night, safe cycling virtually for anybody that wants to take it. We'll be doing Fix Your Own Bike so people can get their bikes ready for Porch Fest on Thursday night. Friday is our joyride. We're going to tour the new Prince Avenue bike lanes, talk to folks, and we're going to end up at Authentic. They're launching a new beer in cans that honor historic Athens. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll be out at Porch Fest. I hope the weather's good. That's
great.
all.
And you've been posting on social about that? Okay.
Extensively.
Right. I got some items to share then. Great, and then I'll open the floor to any staff who wants to share a parting thought.
Well, yeah, it's been great to meet a few of you in person, one-on-one. You know, if anyone who I haven't met with in person, please feel free to reach out. If you guys ever have any questions about stuff or want to get involved in stuff, definitely let me know. Appreciate all of you.
I'm just getting started, but reading through the Athens in Motion plan was so exciting, and I'm excited to see what developments you guys add to this next round. And Athens is really lucky to have you guys.
Thank you, Sherelle. Any other comments?
Yeah, Lauren, if I could, I'd like to just make a quick comment on the Prince Avenue from a safety aspect. Once you get through the pilot out to on Millage, when it splits from the 1 to 2, the people do seem to have a tendency to gun it at that point. And I had not a real close call, but close enough that just be careful once you go beyond the pilot project.
Right.
Can I just chime in really quickly? Sherelle, I'm looking forward to getting to know you, and Ronnie, I know a little bit, but I really know Daniel and Stephen pretty well through the work I've done with them over the years. And if you haven't been working on this kind of stuff in Athens-Clarke County for long, you may not know that we are incredibly lucky to have the staff that we have right now in their positions, because TPW has not always been a place where bike and ped planning and engineering and design and advocacy even have happened, let alone have happened in concert with local advocates. So keep on doing the good work, guys, because it's making things better, and it's making people safer, and it's making people's lives better.
Thank you so much, John, for that perspective. Yes, exactly right. We have not always had people like Daniel and Ronnie and Stephen in these positions, and it's been a long time coming, much work over the decades of many people to be where we are today. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to add one thing. You know, it's definitely having Daniel Sherelle now, the newest addition to the team, our partners and sister departments, us working together collaboratively, and also the direction we receive from Mayor and Commission that helps us to be where we are. The department and like many other departments, serves under the direction of elected officials, and that's what we're doing today. The world is changing. We're changing with it. Sometimes change comes a little bit late, but nevertheless, we feel like we are in a great place. Having you all serving on this team is a great benefit to the citizens of Athens, to serve everyone, not just bicyclists and pedestrians, but to include drivers and to look for other modes of transportation. So thank you all, and I appreciate the comments, John, and I'm glad to meet expectations and hope to exceed them in the future.
Thank you, Ronnie. All right, we're going to finish early. Everyone have a great night. Be safe. Bike, walk, drive Prince Avenue.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Lauren.
Have a good night.